Asuma here with another Minecraft tutorial. This video will show you how to build and use the latest animal breeding machine. This is not only one of the fastest machines but also the most compact and resource friendly of designs, and it also has an automatic cycling feature for lazy breeding enthusiasts. This video will attempt to cover all aspects of animal breeding, so for your convenience I've added this index using annotations so that you can jump to the part of the video that is relevant to you. If you haven't seen one of these machines before, then you may be wondering why you would use one and also how to use it. And the reason why is because we can separate the babies from the adults, and this is useful because we can harvest the drops from the animals that we have separated. So we can store animals in these cells here over time, and when they're ready to breed, we can use the breeding bay here to bring the animals out to the front, breed them, and then send them back into the cells with the babies being separated. To use the machine, you stand at the breeding bay here at the front, and these buttons and this lever will help you to control the machine and bring the animals out to the front for breeding. So you would start off by pressing this button here, and then you can right click on either animal and breed them, and at this point the animal will get separated, and then it automatically sends the animals back into the cells. So if you want to breed more than one pair of animals at a time, you hit the lever at the top here and you put it into automatic rotation mode. So now when I press the bring out button, we can breed them again, and when the baby gets separated, you'll see that the animals automatically rotate around. And notice that the ones that go into this cell at the back also get moved into the one in front of them, so when we send these guys back, they'll go into the cells at the back and the machine won't get clogged up. So to do that, we're going to turn off rotation mode. We're going to breed these animals, and then when the baby is born, it gets separated and they get sent back to their cells. So let's say that we brought out some animals and we couldn't breed them because they'd already been bred recently, or for some reason we just didn't want to breed anymore. Then we can press this button here and then send them back like that. For those of you that have seen these machines before, you may be interested to find out what's changed since the last one. Well, we'll start off with the cells because these have been compacted and made very resource friendly as well. I've taken out all the soul sand and sticky pistons that were in the previous version, so this no longer works with pigs and cats, but it is very compact and resource efficient. The breeding bay at the front here has had a lot of changes made to it. First of all, you can see it's obviously a lot more compact, and this comes down to one thing, which is the rotation of the pistons. Now normally the pistons face us in these machines, and that means that we're pushing the animals away from the cells. So to make this thing even faster and more efficient, I've placed them the other way around, and now they get pushed back towards the cells, which means they've got less of a distance to travel. And also we're using ABMs breeding bay technique here, where we drop the animals in the minecarts onto the hitbox of the painting, and then that way when the new animal is bred, it's not in a minecart and it falls down and gets separated. And when it falls down here, it activates this tripwire, which then sets off this redstone and activates the pistons here. So overall it's a lot more compact and resource efficient, but it's also a lot faster as well. In my tutorials I like to build things layer by layer, and we're going to start off by building the breeding bay part of the animal breeding machine. And to build this you are going to need these resources. We have 68 building blocks, 13 redstone torches, 12 redstone, 10 rails, 8 powered rails, 2 detector rails, 3 redstone repeaters, 3 string, 2 tripwire hooks, 2 buttons, 2 paintings, 2 pistons and a lever. Then you're going to need an area of land to build this in as well, so the gold represents where that area is. The area is 7 blocks wide and 8 blocks deep, and these 3 emerald blocks in the middle here, they represent where the animals will get separated. So if you want to put that into some sort of lava cooker or whatever you're going to do with the separated animals, that's the area that they fall into. Then the iron represents the area outside of where we're building, and the diamond blocks here represent where the breeding cells are going to be. The space behind the breeding bay is where the breeding cells will go, so before you start building this, make sure you have plenty of space to fit in all of the breeding cells that you want on your machine. So we are going to miss a block in the corner here, then place 2, miss another block and another 2, and then put this T shape in the middle here like this, and then miss a gap and place another block over there. Then 2 blocks over from the side of our T, we're going to place a block just there, and the same on the other side, and then we're going to place these redstone torches, and we're going to do that on both sides. And then last of all, we're going to put the tripwire hooks on either side of these blocks, and then put those 3 string in the middle. For the second layer, we're going to place a block in the middle and 1 on either side, and then we're going to need to place 13 blocks in a pattern like this. Then once you've done that, you're going to place a torch at the front of that pattern on either side, and then a redstone wire and a repeater facing into that redstone wire from either side of this block. Then we've got 3 wires in the middle here, and round on this side we have a redstone torch over here and another one on this side as well. For the third layer, we're going to place 4 blocks in a row on this side, then diagonal from that another 2, then a ring of blocks, and then do the same thing on the other side. So we have 2, then 4 blocks. Then either side of the middle we have a block, and 3 blocks in we have these 2 blocks as well. Then we're going to put a redstone torch on the side of these blocks, and then redstone wire here and over there as well. Then 2 powered rails on either side, and then a repeater facing into this block, and behind this one we have a button here in the middle of this ring, and then last of all we need to place a painting on both of these blocks. For the fourth layer, we're going to place a rail at the front on top of these 2 blocks, then behind them we are going to place blocks as well, and on top of this one we're going to put down a redstone dust and then a row of 3 blocks behind that, and on the end of that block we are going to place a button like this. Then we're going to put these 2 pistons facing towards us, and then either side of those we're going to put a redstone dust and then a block in front of each of those redstone dust. Then we need to place a rail on the end here, a detector rail, then 2 more, and then do the same thing on the other side. For the fifth layer, we're going to place a rail on either side, and behind that we're going to place 2 blocks. Then we're going to put a redstone dust here and then a block behind that. For the sixth and final layer of the breeding bay, we are going to place this block in the middle, which is 1 block in, and behind that we're going to put a redstone torch and then put down 2 powered rails on either side. Then on top of this block we'll put down a redstone torch, and behind that these 3 blocks in a row with a lever in the middle. Now I'm going to show you how to build the breeding cells, and to do this you will need these resources. We have 36 building blocks, 27 glass, 12 powered rails, 4 redstone and 2 redstone repeaters, and that's enough to build 1 breeding cell, and these cells can be stacked back to back so you can include more animals in your breeding machine. For example, the ones over there in the demonstration have 4 sets of breeding cells. To build this you are going to need an area of land that is 9 blocks wide and 4 blocks deep, and the diamond blocks here at the front represent the back of the breeding bay. So this is where you'll need to build your first breeding cell in relation to the breeding bay, and the diamond blocks at the back represent where you'd build the next cell after that. For the first layer we're going to place down these 2 groups of blocks. They are both 3 by 4 and they have 1 block missing at the front like this. For the second layer we're going to be placing a block either side of the middle, and then diagonal to that another block, and then 2 blocks diagonal from that as well. And you can see it's the same on either side. We've also got a block here and here. Then we'll place down 2 powered rails, 2 on these sides as well, and then last of all a repeater facing into these blocks, and behind those blocks we have 2 redstone wires. For the fourth layer we'll start off by placing these 4 blocks at the back like this. Then in front of the 2 on either side you have a powered rail, and then we also place down a powered rail in these 2 positions. Then we need to place down the glass. We've got 3 in the middle like this, then we have 1 glass on either side, another 3, and then 1, and then 1 to the diagonal on that, and it's the same on this side as well. For the fourth and final layer we're going to start off by placing down a rail on top of each of those blocks we placed in the previous layer, and then we're going to put a glass block at the front here, and you can see there's a gap and another one behind it, then 1 to either side, and then the same thing again, 1 at the front, a gap and another one behind it, and 1 to the side. That's the same on both layers, and then last of all 1 in the corner at the front here. So now that you've built your first breeding cell, you can go and build another one behind that, and then when you finish building all of the breeding cells that you want, what you need to do is place down 3 blocks on either side like this, and then 3 rails on top of it. Now that you've built your breeding machine, you may be wondering how you're going to get your animals into it. Well, it's actually quite simple. What you need to do is build one of these things near where your animals are kept, and you place down a powered rail on it, and then you get some wheat and you want to lure the cow into the minecart like this, and then when he's spinning around you can change the track with a lever and then send them to where you want to go. So let's just add these blocks here, and then when we hit the lever we'll send him round into the breeding machine. So once you've got one animal into the one side, you want to put another one in the other side, and then you would go to the front of your breeding bay machine and you'd hit the rotate button, and then they'd move into the cells in front of them, and then you can load these up again until you have a full machine. So that's it for this tutorial. As always, if you have any questions or need any help, you can get in touch with me via the comment box, and a special thanks goes out to Doc M for his pistons and painting technique that we've used here in the breeding bay, and another special thanks to Sci Guy Ryan, who helped me test the machine and also develop the baby detection system down here at the bottom. There's also a map download in the description box that includes everything you can see here. This may be very useful to help you build your own animal breeding machine. So thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.